Welcome into the Seattle Seahawks post-game show. The Seahawks beat the Broncos 26-20. It was a good win for the Seattle Seahawks. The defense looked excellent. The offensive line, not so much. Mixed opinions about Mike McDonald, Geno Smith. We're going to get into it all. But Levi, first, I want your initial reaction. 10 minutes out of this game, the Seahawks win. It's been a 4 or 5 months since we've seen this team. What do you think about Mike McDonald and this squad?
I think the defense showed a lot of promise today. I really liked it. I was very impressed, especially with just our ability to tackle. It
Yeah, I
looked
was gonna say that.
so much better than we've seen in the past 2 to 3 years. Maybe the Broncos just don't know how to run, but my goodness, every time they caught the ball, it was like we were right there on top of them. It was so refreshing because I've been watching a Seahawks team with Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, bless his heart, but these guys could not make tackles in the midfield. They last year we probably let up so many yards after catch. Today, the Bronco and the commentator even made a comment about that. There was not very much yards after catch at all for Denver. So I was very impressed.
Yeah, that was the first thing I was gonna say, Levi. The tackling was excellent. I think I could probably do on one hand the amount of times that I saw a Broncos player miss a Seattle Seahawks defender. It seemed that every single time a Bronco caught a ball, not only did the Seahawks make the tackle, they were there within zero point 0.2 seconds. Right away, there was a Seahawk right there all the time. No breathing room. Bo Nix, 135 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. And I know he's a rookie quarterback, but this guy's been in college for 9 years. So how much of a rookie is he really? Either way, the Seattle Seahawks put him in a box. It wasn't even a competition. The Seahawks outclassed Bo Nix today. On the running game, the rush defense was super good as well. If you look at the three running backs, they went for under 100 yards combined. Bo Nix, he had 35 yards of his own. But, that's kind of like broken plays. What are you going to do about that type of stuff? But this team defensively, compared to last year, especially Levi, where they threw up the graphic 30th in this, 28th in this, 27th in this. And now this team looks just completely different on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball, though, not much differences, I have to say. I didn't love what I saw, especially in the first half. The second half, there was a great adjustment made, but the first half, very sloppy. The two safeties, Levi. What did you see from the offense today, specifically in that first half that only produced 9 points?
The offensive line is once again going to be the Seahawks' biggest
Yeah.
problem. And I hate to say it, but I feel like every single offseason I say, why aren't we focusing more on the O line? And I hear, well, we have to pay Metcalf, we have to pay Geno, we have to pay all these guys. Like, let's save some room in our budget for the O line. Because my goodness, every single year for the past 10 years, this has been the case. They got better in the second half. At least, but we also kind of took the ball out of Geno's hands in the third quarter, which maybe was smart because the O line was just not giving him much time. You know me, Drew. I'm not a huge Geno Smith fan. I thought he played pretty good today, though. All things considered, I thought he performed. And I think that his mistakes early in the game were more so on the O line than on him. So yeah, I need to see better from the O line. Obviously, Noah Fant or not Noah Fant, George Fant already out. Noah Fant didn't play well either. I have to say, I was not impressed with him. But the O line, yeah, they need to be better. The run blocking was decent though, and we saw Kenneth Walker. He took over the game, Drew. I mean, what do you see out of him?
He absolutely took over the game. 20 carries for 103 yards and a tutty. Kenneth Walker, K9, one of the most elusive backs in the NFL. Levi, the O line did block well for him, but I saw a lot of Kenneth Walker kind of making his own luck there towards the end of the game, especially he was diving over players. He was, sprinting around guys, juking people, saying, ha ha, give me your ankles, getting the first down. K9 was electric today. And I think he's in my mind cemented himself as a top 10 back in the NFL. He's looked really good out there, and he was the difference maker. I totally agree with you, Levi. They started to change it up. Credit to Ryan Grubb. When you saw the two safeties and they were out and they didn't come help the defense with the run game, they said, okay, we're giving K9 the ball. Then when the safety said, "Okay, Kenneth Walker's taking over the game, let's bring him in the box," what did Ryan Grubb and Geno Smith do? They threw the ball. So then the safeties went back out and then they ran the ball. It was a very simple formula, but it was executed to perfection in the tail end of the third and the fourth quarter. But quickly going back to the offensive line, because I do think that was the storyline in this game. I kind of want to say my piece on that front. You mentioned, how are we going to pay the offensive line? There's all these other things to do. Levi, I totally agree with you. Figure out a way to to pay for an offensive line. I mean, this is like saying,
Or just draft more of them because
yeah,
you
I
draft
mean,
guys, you don't
there's
have to pay them.
true, but yeah, at the very least, pay the guys. I mean, this is this is the backbone to an offense is the offensive line. You can't say, "Oh, how am I going to pay for rent and food when I have all these supercars in my like get rid of the supercars because you have to put a roof over people's heads." I mean, it's the exact same
Yeah.
thing. You can't say, "Oh, I can't pay for food. Sorry. Sorry, kids, you're going to go to bed hungry." No, you figure out a way. And that's what the Seahawks have to do with the offensive line. You figure out a way to get the offensive line better because when you don't have a guy like a Kyler Murray who can just sprint around and make things happen, a Josh Allen, that's not Geno Smith. So what you have to do to get Geno Smith to perform is to give him an offensive line like a Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And Seahawks offense can really produce.
Yeah. I mean, looking ahead to the schedule, the Patriots, the Lions, the 49ers, the Bills in particular, those four teams all have really, really good defensive lines. I don't know how we're going to hold up against a team with an actual pass rush. Luckily for us, the Broncos are just terrible, so it didn't really matter. I mean, the Broncos, they should have probably been leading like 24 to 6 at half, but they just couldn't
Yeah.
take advantage of anything. I mean, our defense,
No.
really, our defense only allowed 10 points. I know it says 20, but three of those points were because Geno Smith threw an interception on the first play or the second play. Three of those points were because a safety with a good punt return. And then four of those points were because of the two safeties in the first half. So really,
Yeah.
the Seahawks probably should have won this game. It should have been more like 29-10 instead of 26-20. But either way, the Broncos were terrible. So it's hard to read too much into this win because Bo Nix, he didn't look like an NFL quarterback. I think
No.
honestly, my biggest takeaway today was that Bo Nix is not a good quarterback. And who knows?
It's one game.
It's
It's one
always,
game,
yeah, it's
Levi.
tough because Bo Nix could come out there. We could look at this game in week 10 and say, wow, the Broncos have really come alive. That's a good win for the Seahawks. Or we could look at it in week 10 and say, man, the Broncos, they're so bad. Like, how did the Seahawks not crush them? You never really know how it's going to be, but at least we won. Remember last year, we all thought we were going to win and we lost by 17 points in week 1. So, you know, was it a pretty win?
Yes, a win's a win's a win.
No, but it was a win. It was a win. And
Yeah.
honestly, the third quarter was a really good quarter of football from the Seahawks. I
The
think
third quarter, they looked like a
we
playoff team.
played near perfect football in the third quarter.
Yes.
Just
Correct.
the other three, we weren't amazing. And
Yeah.
to be fair, the fourth quarter, at that point, we were winning. We were probably tired.
Well, and what happened in the third quarter, Levi? We mentioned it once.
We ran the
It's
ball.
K9. Yeah. Kenneth Walker looked great.
And I
Um,
think that's going to be the key. I think when he is on, and when our defense is on, we're going to win. We're going to win games. When he's not on, when our defense is not on, and particularly when we play a team with a really good pass rush,
yeah.
we're going to lose those games.
Well, a good thing about relying on the run game, Levi, is that it is way less go and stop than relying on the passing game.
Yeah.
It's more of a consistent trend with the running game. You can put your money into the S&P 500 and it'll go pretty, what's going to happen for the most part, or you can bet on those penny stocks and that's kind of what relying on the passing game is like. So relying on Kenneth
Well,
Walker,
to clarify, Drew, I think you're saying this when it's Geno Smith at quarterback, right? I mean, if it's Mahomes,
no,
you're
that's not
not
true.
leaning
I
on the run
disagree.
game.
I
If
disagree.
Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback,
No,
you
because
lean on
Patrick
him to
Mahomes
win.
is Patrick Mahomes obviously is a better quarterback than Geno Smith,
That's
but
what I'm saying.
there are games where Patrick Mahomes is absolutely terrible passing the ball.
Yeah, those never happen, but okay.
Yes, they do. Yes,
Sure.
they do.
Like twice
They
last year.
relied how many games did they rely on the defense last year to win football games?
The defense, not the run game. I'm saying offensively, the
But
Chiefs
they
can never. Okay. We're gonna stick to the
how many
Seahawks.
games did they win? Like 16-13 last year? A lot.
And was that because of the run game? No.
No, but I'm saying relying on the passing game can get you into trouble more often than relying on the running game, in my
Sure,
opinion.
I'm agreeing, but dependent on quarterback.
Dependent on quarterback to a
Yeah.
certain degree.
If you have a good quarterback, it's better to rely on your passing game. If you have a good running back, it's better to rely on your run game. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yes, because I think the boom for relying on throwing the football is higher than it is for running the football.
Maybe, but I've seen good running backs disappear in games too. So I don't know what we're really arguing
But
about.
I
But
don't think that's because of the running back is my point. I think that's because of the game plan.
because
I don't think there's games where the running back just all of a sudden goes 0 for 4 with four strikeouts. That just doesn't happen.
well, I guess
Like
we'll
they
keep a
run
watch
the
on this one.
football. I mean, unless they fumble the ball 3 times, like hey, okay, whatever. I'm gonna change topics, Levi. How many sacks do you think the Seahawks gave up? Just straight off the bat. Do you know? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, I feel like I remember one at the very beginning of the game, and I don't remember of many more. Drew, did we allow 2 sacks?
We allowed just the 2 sacks,
Two sacks.
both to Jonathan Cooper. But my point is, it's felt like a lot more than that, no? I mean, to me at least, it felt like Geno Smith was under duress most of the game when he dropped back.
It felt like he was under pressure. I didn't see a whole lot of sacks though, because I think that I mean, to be fair, Geno's gotten a lot better, and Geno is better. I don't think Geno's a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. I do think he is better than Russell Wilson at knowing when to get rid of the football. That was always
Yeah.
the big Russell Wilson problem, is he would just take sacks when he didn't have to.
And the good
Geno,
thing about Russell.
Geno knows he knows when to get rid of the football. He knows when a play is dead. Sometimes, again, you're right. Sometimes, he's not extending a play, but he doesn't oftentimes go down when he doesn't have to. So I thought, again, I was impressed by Geno, which is last year I wasn't all that impressed by Geno, but I thought he looked good. At the 40-yard touchdown run also. I mean, that was the longest touchdown run of his
Yeah.
career. Where'd that come
My
from?
goodness. He
I
put
was
a move on
I
a
was
defender
shocked to see
too.
that one.
You saw that little hey
Yeah.
jab step to the left and then just ran into the to get a touchdown. That was great by Geno
Yeah.
Smith. Levi, lots of great players in Seahawks, but was there one that stood out to you for your player of the game?
Well, my player of the game would be K9. I think would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do think Tyler Lockett had an
Yeah,
underrated,
he
really
did.
good performance today. 6 receptions, 77 yards, that snag to end the game. I was
Yeah.
worried there. If we were gonna punt away the ball to Bo Nix,
Oh, I was
hey,
not worried at all.
so
Bo Nix is
nothing.
terrible. That last touchdown meant nothing. I knew if we had punted it, we would have probably sacked him on the first play. But I was happy when
Jeez.
Tyler Lockett made that catch.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
yeah.
think
So
K9's the obvious choice. I
I wanted
think
to ask
that
you, Drew.
defensively, Julian Love
Oh yeah,
had a
no,
great game. 10
fantastic.
tackles with the INT, the toe touch INT. That was great. My non-player of the game was freaking
Anthony
who had the
Bradford.
was that the holding call in the
I believe so. Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty bad. Two safeties in one half.
Yeah.
How rare is that?
Very rare. I don't know if it's. I'm sure it's happened before because it's the NFL, but that's very rare. I wanted to ask you, Drew. We both agree on the player of the game, but who would you say was the newcomer of the game? A lot of newcomers on the coaching side as well as on the playing side. I have one guy in mind as my newcomer of the game. But what do you think?
Ah, goodness gracious, Levi. Well, first of all, I think Mike McDonald defensively kind of
Oh yeah.
lived up to the hype, which you could argue is that. I'm gonna go with someone that I kept hearing in the broadcast, Rashawn Jenkins.
Okay.
I thought he had a really good game. He was flying all over the field, made 6 tackles as the third most tackles for the Seahawks today. He was flying. It feels like every time I was listening to the broadcast, it was Rashawn Jenkins breaks up the player or something along those lines. So I thought he played great. That's good to see.
He did, and he was one of my biggest question marks of the offseason. So I'm glad he had a good week one. I hope that translates. My newcomer of the game, I'm going with Tyrell Dodson, the guy who
Okay. Yeah.
replacing Bobby Wagner on that middle linebacker position, such an important position. And similar to Jenkins, I kept on hearing Dodson comes up and makes a tackle.
Yeah.
And
Similar.
like, and
Yeah.
I, all credit to Jordan Brooks and Bobby Wagner. I don't think they were bad football players, but I think Tyrell Dodson had a better game than most of the games we saw Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks play last season from that linebacker position. Because unlike them, he was able to make tackles right away. He was able to just be like, it felt like we were always right there. And I keep saying this. I haven't seen a Seahawks team tackle this well in probably 7 or 8 years. So I think immediately, and again, credit to McDonald on that, because that's a tough mentality. So
Yeah.
Drew, the question everybody's asking, and I'm interested to hear, does this game prove that moving on from Pete Carroll and replacing it with Mike McDonald was the right move?
Yes.
Okay.
Simple answer is yes. From what I saw, it was the defense. I'm going to keep harping on it, but the offense, very similar to last year, but the defense looked night and day different and different in a good way. Like you said, Levi, the linebackers, it's not like they were more, savvy or they had better IQ or better, ball skills. No, they were just faster. It was the speed that stuck out to me. Like you said, they were always right there. And I think Mike McDonald was a big factor to that. And I think that this season is going to hinge on the defense and if Geno Smith can play well. And after this first week, I feel pretty confident that the defense will play well. And if Geno Smith can get some protection from his O line, I think he will be good enough to potentially lead the Seahawks to the playoffs.
Yeah. Strong words from Drew. I'll admit I'm still not sold on a playoffs. I think that
I want to see this defense against someone other than Bo Nix,
and I
too.
want to
I
see
also need to see
and I
that.
want to see the offense against a real team as well. So
Well, the
I
Broncos, yes, yeah,
yeah, I mean not that it's the same exact defense as last year, but this is the same team that last year the Dolphins dropped a 70 bomb on this Broncos. So, but you're right. I mean, I think the offense, all things considered, offense looked good. I want to see it though against a good team. So I think
yeah.
what will really start to convince me is the Dolphins and the Lions games.
Okay.
If we hang in with them, even if we don't beat them, if we hang around with them and play really good, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, that is what's going to convince me. But I do think we're going to be a frisky. I think we can contend with most teams. I'm not
Yeah.
sold though on that winning record just yet. But that's okay. I mean, it's week one. We try not to over.
Looking ahead to week 2, though, the Patriots come out with the win quickly, Levi,
Yeah,
before wrapping this thing up. What was once a game that I had Seahawks W written all over it, I'm a little bit more hesitant to pick the Seahawks to beat the Patriots. I probably would still pick them, but it does bring some concern to this game that the Patriots looked really good week 1, especially defensively, something the
yeah,
Seahawks, it's the offense where you're concerned about.
yeah. I think that next Sunday, if you're a betting man, bet the under. Bet the under on the
I
overall
mean, the
total
under will
and
probably
on
be pretty
line.
low if I had to guess.
It probably will, because I think that my guess is that the Patriots, they have a good pass rush, right? Good defense. I think that we're going to see Geno under even more pressure than he was today.
Yeah.
I don't think we're scoring 20 points, but Jacoby Brissett is maybe the only quarterback in the NFL that is as bad as Bo Nix. So we can at least know that our defense, like I said, our defense should have allowed only 10 points tonight. So if we can hold the Patriots to 10 points, then we can probably win next week, like, 16-10. And that might be what we're looking at. But I would say smash the under if you're a betting man.
Yeah, smash the under. I'll take the Hawks close
I
if I
say
had to
that
pick
and
right
and
now.
watch it be 35-31. 31.
Yeah, very Seahawks of that to happen. Well,
Uh,
Levi, that will do it here on the Seahawks postgame show, NW Sportscast. A great win for the Seahawks as they beat the Broncos 26-20. We'll be back for another postgame next week. Hopefully, a couple more
we'll do a
Seahawks related
pregame. Yeah.
videos. Yeah, this week. But if you want to
And
see
keeping
anything in
keeping tabs
particular,
on the Mariners. We haven't made a video in about 2 weeks, but they are now only 3.5 games back. So if you are a faithful, hope-filled person, unlike myself, then you might still be watching the Mariners. But I might make a video about them tomorrow night. So
I was close to making a video. I said, I've done that too many times. I don't think it's 3.5 though, Levi. And
it
this isn't the
is.
video to talk about.
It
Is
is
it?
3.5. Yeah, as of today.
Is that assuming the Astros lose today against the
No, three and a
Diamondbacks?
half back of the Twins for the wild card.
Oh, okay. So and then the
Yeah,
Astros, it's 5.
4.5 or 5. Yeah, something like that.
It's possible.
It's possible. Maybe
Maybe
not likely.
we just yeah, maybe
Possible.
we should just not make any videos because it's
Yeah.
been seemingly been didn't do it's been doing
Yeah.
better since we haven't. All right, we got to get out of here, Levi. Seahawks win 26-20. NW Sportscast. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you made it all the way to the end of the video. It really does help us out a lot when you guys can do that
Yep.
because the algorithm, we keep making the videos. We like interacting with you guys in the comment section. In the comments, if you want to see anything specific, if you leave it, we will do it. So this is your open invitation. Tell us to do something in the comment section, and me and Levi, I promise you will do it. So that's about it. NW Sportscast post-game show. Levi, as always,
Go Cougars. I mean,
that's
Seahawks.
crazy. That's crazy. And
Go
Mariners.
Seahawks. Go Cougs. Go Orange. Both our teams got big wins this weekend,
Cal
Drew.
McCord. How
All
about
right.
it?
We will
Yeah.
see you guys in the next couple of days.
All right. See you.